Okay, so today, while I was out at the Catonsville 4th of July parade, which I was in, and fireworks, which I was like as close to the launch site as you can get. It was really, really cool. I get great footage. You'll have to look elsewhere on my YouTube channel for Catonsville 4th of July. I printed something. Now, this is not what I printed, but this was a mercury capsule print that had failed. It had stopped printing when it got to this point, right? But it has a bottom. And what I found was, it's got a great sound. This is really cool. Can I reproduce that? I don't know. What I'm going to try, like a little tiny Doumbek or something. All right, so here is what I printed while I was gone. Now, I didn't do a time lapse of this print. Oh, I don't know how this came out. Well, it's stuck to the tape well enough. All right, let's see. All right, so let's see what we got here. Now, obviously the tape's stuck. Oh, it sounds acousticy, acousticy. I gotta. This is cool. So, if I can print this percussion instrument here, I need to clean this up. It's really cute. I designed this in 123D CAD. I did like a curved surface of splines. I did 2 splines kind of inside, and they just kind of went all the way up and all the way back down the inside, and then I revolved it around the center. This is a cylinder that is 0.15 millimeters thick, which is the same thickness at which I printed the layers. Okay, so essentially it printed this one layer, just this one. Now this is a little floppier than the other one, so I'll have to try and see if I can figure out why I've got more material on here than I should. But in essence, it basically worked. I have this little tiny finger drum. That's pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to basically make a Doumbek out of it, but I need a little better curves and some things like that. I have the basic pattern, but I don't have to do anything to it. I don't have to put like a head on it or anything. This is just the layer of plastic. I don't know whether I could, I don't know, maybe heat it up and put it on something that would allow the plastic to kind of tighten up a little bit or something. So we'll have to figure that out. But anyhow, this is my first attempt at a 3D printed drum. I could probably get about twice that big. All right, so here is my second generation of my 3D printed Doumbek. Let's see if I can so I broke it. It'll glue back together. This is really a test. It's kind of, there's a lot of gaps in here. I don't know what's going on with it. See if I can get most of this tape off of here. As I said before, one of the problems I'm not having is things sticking. I'm going to try a different tape technology or something. Most people are using kapton tape, not this blue tape. So, and there's a lot of, I'm not having enough play. There's a lot of, I don't know if you can see the roughness in there. That's not supposed to be there. I was having issues where I was having too much plastic on the first layer, and so I told the slicing program that the plastic filament coming into the feeder is thicker than it really is. I'm probably going too far with it. I'm going to have to pull the knife out and clean this off. So, alright, so this is 0.25 millimeters thick and a 0.25 millimeter thick slice layer. Alright, so the first layer prints as one layer and then things print around it. I've designed this in 123D CAD, and it's just a spline for this, a cylinder for the bottom, a line from the center directly up. It's built this way, so it's built up the z-axis, and then I revolve the spline around that center axis, extrude the bottom, and I've designed this in such a way that the curve actually comes a little bit below the z-axis. So after I'm done extruding these two things, then I put them together, I construct them together, I union them together, so I join them, I think there's the right term. So I join them together. And then I put a box from Z0 down, and I subtract the box from this. That gives me a perfectly flat surface on the Z equals 0 plane, and it means that if you can kind of see the thickness in here of the way this is, so the original extruded cylinder actually comes out to here, right, all the way out to this edge, like where my fingernail is, right? But then because the spline starts on that, I have some nice support on the edge. And I think if the tape wasn't on here, it'd probably sound pretty good. So see if I can clean this up a little bit and see if I can make it work any better. But that's actually starting to look more like a drum. The other one kind of looked like a spittoon with a top. So anyhow, trying to see if I can make a 3D printed drum all in one pass without having to construct multiple things or glue a drum head on it. If this works, it'll be neat. Well, I messed around with it for a little bit and got it glued back together a little bit. But I also got the head pretty clean. There's still some sticky stuff on here. It's kind of cool, but not what I had in mind. But so I'll still have to clean it up a little bit. Probably take some Goo Gone or something and see if I can get it off there. But it worked. I gotta change the layer thicknesses and some other stuff. But the fundamental concept is sound. I just gotta keep dialing it in. Close. So it's been a while since I made the original Doumbek videos, and I've messed with it quite a bit. So here is probably the best of the new generations that I've done. This works really well. You can see I've changed the shape a little bit. It looks a lot more like what the traditional Doumbek looks like. The head is now 2 layers. Okay, so this is 0.4 millimeters, and the whole thing is sliced at 0.2 millimeters per layer. So you get a hash this way and that way. And obviously, if I can show you so you can see how shiny that head is, how smooth that is. I'm using kapton tape. The blued painter's tape works great for ABS plastic, except that it's a pain to get it off, and it's really rough. So here I'll grab the camera. Here is what I'm currently doing. Alright, this is a piece of aluminum that I just bought at Home Depot, okay, and it's just on here with little binder clips, right, which makes it real convenient to get on and off. I bought some 4-inch wide kapton tape, and it's really difficult to get it on here without getting air bubbles in it, and also it's very difficult to get it lined down the middle. In fact, if you can see on this, there's a line. Yeah, there, I can show it to you. That line down the middle, that's the gap between the tape. Now that wasn't done on this particular tape. One of the other tricks I saw is to use soapy water and put the tape on with soapy water and squeegee the water out and let the tape dry. The glue that's on the tape won't, here we are, put the camera back. The glue that's on the tape works fine underwater. It won't dissolve with the water. So once you get the water out, the soapy water out, and it dries off, everything works great. So every now and then I have these that don't quite print right, and for those I've now printed extra drum heads. All right, so this is a 0.4 millimeter thick, just the cylinder portion of the cylinder and the curve before. So these are really tough. I'm just continually amazed how tough this ABS plastic is when you really don't do anything else to it. Here is one of the drums that I did where the head came out, and I glued one of those drums on, just acetone, and put the head on there, and then I actually poured a little acetone inside, swished it around real quick, and dumped it back out, and let it sit on the metal surface of my table saw downstairs. So it's sitting on the table saw like this, and it dries. And this one, all right, so this one's a little bit higher. So I got two different tones without even trying. Now, I think the reason is, I don't know if you can see, there's a rim right inside of here. So I think what happens is the acetone causes the plastic to swell up a little bit, and it gets nicely glued on here. And then when it dries up, it shrinks back down. And so these work really good. This is going to be a Kickstarter project. These are going to be available for 10 bucks. In fact, I took them to in the summertime, I do the Penzic War, which is a medieval reenactment up in northwestern Pennsylvania. I took 8 and I sold them for $7.50 at Touch the Earth Drum and Music Store. They sold them for $7.50, and they sold 8 of them, sold in 2 days. So look for a Kickstarter project. We're going to make this one. We're going to make one that's a little bigger, maybe that big, maybe a little bit bigger, and we're going to put a handle on one so that you can turn it over and use it as a drinking cup, and then turn it over and play drums. So look for that. That'll be, we'll make sure that gets pretty well published on my Facebook page and also here on YouTube. All right? So, drums worked, and that's a little bit of innovation. It was kind of fun, and I had a good time doing it. All right? Thanks for watching. One other thing I forgot. I got to tell you this other thing about using kapton tape. This is acetone, but it's not clear. Most acetone is clear. Well, what I've done is I've taken some of the small pieces of whatever I had sitting around as plastic extras, and I've dissolved it into the acetone. So this is a solution of ABS plastic and acetone. Take a paper towel, get it a little bit damp with this. Works better if you have a bottle with a small mouth. I just happen to have this Grey Poupon jar. And then rub it onto the kapton tape, and the acetone will flash dry almost immediately, and it'll leave you with this film, just a very barely white film on the kapton tape, and your ABS plastic will stick to it perfectly. All right, I have had no problems whatsoever with that. In fact, it sticks really, really well. People were saying that they had problems getting it to stick to kapton tape. Once I did that, I haven't had a problem since. I've only got to apply it every, I don't know, 5 or 6 builds, maybe even less frequently than that. So the ABS dissolved in the acetone and then wiped on there. Don't breathe the acetone, kind of dip your, paper towel in it, close the jar back up, rub it on there, put it somewhere to dry where it's not near a heat source, because it will burn very, very abruptly, okay? And it doesn't explode, but it goes up really easily. Be careful with it. It's chemicals, but it's pretty safe if you behave yourself. And that really works well. In fact, you can see it on the picture I showed before. Maybe you could tell, maybe not. But you can see the white film, like right in here. You can see that film. So that's actually the plastic film of the ABS plastic that's kind of this thin layer that's been dissolved in the acetone, so that worked great. All right, hope that's enough tips. Oh, get the camera back on the stand. There we go. All right, so thanks for watching, and I hope that helps some folks with some of the tips that I've picked up off of the forums, and mostly on the Google forum for MakerBot. All right, have a good time with it. Post stuff and give me replies and comments back of what you're doing with it. Bye.